Konene. So one of the things that Ruto alibaki amesema jana mashujaa day ni bado iko na ile dream ya kuturn Kenya into a first world country, and with that in mind na plan do like one last stretch ile nita record like Cape Town, and then nikirudi Nairobi nita do like a whole review of the tour, because one of the things that I've realized is hii dream ya first world, can we actually achieve it? I think Cape Town imefanya nikaanza kuona how hard it is to achieve it. And apart from Cape Town, pia just the things I've learned about South Africa in the process, because one thing ile notice like vile nilikuwa naingia South Africa is I was really pissed because I was like, how does an international airport close down? And then nikaingia Cape Town itself and I discovered that these people have this very interesting work-life balance where they close down a lot of stuff. Like at 6 p.m., a lot of shops are closed, a lot of even malls are closed, and restaurants are packed. Like there's a very vibrant life. Like easy restaurants, bars, yani kuna hiyo life. Like that's work-life balance. And kila kitu iko so organized that for Kenya to achieve that, we'd have to change a lot of stuff about us. And one of the things that we'd have to change is our honesty level. So I support dream ya Ruto. Najua like it's a good dream, it's a valid dream. It's one of those dreams that I have, and it's one of those dreams that personally I'm so arrogant that I always believe that I'd be the guy. Najua, but I also have the reality where I know that because of my stand on religion, I can never get such a chance. But I always admire the people who get these chances. And like after kukapa Cape Town just for less than a week, I look at Sakaja and I'm like, damn dude, damn, you can do so much. But hey, wacha tusikize Ruto.
Still on Mashujaa Day celebrations, President William Ruto outlined food security, value addition and infrastructural development as key pillars to elevate Kenya to the first world status. President Ruto emphasized that while the journey may seem difficult, it is achievable through visionary leadership. Melito Letenges has the details.
President Ruto used the national celebrations to outline a renewed roadmap for national transformation.
If Kenya is to attain first world status within our lifetime, as it must, we should set for ourselves daring, audacious goals and pursue them with unwavering focus.
The first pillar, food security, through large-scale food production. President Ruto revealed that the country spends over 500 billion Kenya shillings annually to import food, a trend that he says is unsustainable if the country is to transform.
Tuwache kuagiza vyakula kutoka nje. Inawezekana tuzalishe chakula ya kutosha Kenya.
And that one I actually agree with. Like ukisikia that Kenya tuna spend 500 billion to import food, and we have all these unemployed people, because that just shows you how much jobs, how many jobs are out there. Because I think when we think about jobs, we all think about mostly formal jobs, and if it's not formal, we think about construction. We never look at farming as a way to create jobs. So yes, this is very interesting. Ungeniambia that we spend 500 billion on food imports and be there like but then we look at all these stories. Unakumbuka kulikuwa na ile story as I imported edible oils where we lost I think 6 billion. So we have all these stories that eventually ukiangalia unaona zina add up, and that's why nikianza hii story nimebonga juu ya honesty. I think that's the biggest impediment for Kenya. It's not even because it come to manpower, it come to brains, it come to what we have, all that. But what we lack is the honesty. We're the sort of people who will see a tenderpreneur show up with a fancy car and we are all there like clapping for them, while basically what they've done is they've robbed the country. So tuko na hiyo shida ile, that honesty problem where as long as someone is wealthy, we think it's okay. Even if they are thieves.
Tunatumia zaidi ya bilioni 500 kila mwaka kuagiza chakula kutoka nje. Ni lazima sasa tuwe na pesa ya kutengeneza dams ama mabwawa ya maji 50, yale yanaitwa mega dams, ndio tuweze kuzalisha chakula kutokana na kunyunyiza maji mashamba yetu.
So tukibonga je story ya mega dams, and the way I look at it is, look at Nairobi and the way Nairobi floods. Look at how kitu kama inaitwa expressway wagaina flood, alafu baki umesikia like stories of other cities. So kanishaiskiaga that one of the reasons why a state like Texas, for example, ended up with all these man-made lakes is they were trying to come up with a way to fight floods. So that would be one way for us to fight floods, of course, is have a place where we have all these water reservoirs, unajua, have all these dams, and these dams can be used to generate power, and apart from generate power, you can also use them to supply water, because Nairobi, we don't have water. There are very many places where people end up without water. Nakumbuka nikiishi Lang'ata and like used to spend so much on because ile tank ya maji kikuja, I think it's 100 liters, they charge you 1,000 bob. So you can try and imagine how much you're using on water, and that should be something that's supplied by the government. So yes, that was that. And the next thing, of course, alibonga juu yake ni power. Na power, najua, like steamer, ni kitu muhimu sana.
The second pillar is value addition through industrialization, shifting Kenya from an importer to a producer and exporter of finished goods.
We need to generate more energy. We cannot industrialize. We cannot be a manufacturing country if we have only 2,300 megawatts of energy. We need to generate, at the minimum, 10,000 megawatts so that we can power our industries, we can power our agro-processing and value addition, and create products that we are going to export to the markets that we have already negotiated.
So you come to a story of power, and this is one of the things that I'd say, that when we think about power, we only think about hydroelectricity, unajua, and history of hydroelectric, it's good, and we need the dams for that. But the fact that we live on the equator, and the fact that we have too much sunlight, and apart from too much sunlight, we have wind, this would be the place where we need to collaborate with China and try and think of ways. Because hizi China ikikam to batteries, they are like some of the countries that have mastered stories of batteries. Na pia nilibonga juu hapa China vile wame come up with 2 towers. I think those 2 towers serve like 80,000 homes in China. And China still has all these other seasons. Kenya, we have the sun, like the whole of the year tuko na jua. Why can't we do that? So these are the things that we need to start thinking, and we need to start thinking futuristic. So as I keep saying, Kasongo has all these very great ideas, and I think I always say that his problem is he wants to benefit from each of the ideas. Otherwise, if he was the sort of person who was ready to just work and not even make a single cent from it, but have the country benefit, he has better ideas than I think the other presidents wale wamepita before yeye, because hao kuna vile hakuwa na jali juu ya kitu kama hiyo, that the fact that we are importing all that food, the fact that we don't generate enough power, that was not a concern to them, but also they were not trying to maybe get rich through that. Him sasa shida ni all these great ideas, but these great ideas come at the price of what am I benefiting, and that's when it becomes a problem.
President Ruto added that to power these industries, sufficient energy will be a priority investment area for the government. Lastly, infrastructure development, which the president said Raila Odinga urged him to prioritize as a critical driver of economic growth.
The late Raila Odinga told us you cannot be a progressive first world country without first world infrastructure.
Alafu, this is another thing now. If I was to go back in time in 2022 and you tell me that one day Ruto would be quoting Raila, and I've been like, hell no. And I think one of the things, and I mentioned this on a previous video, but one of the things that we need to learn is, and hopefully we can learn from it that the Raila is, we need to start and come up with politics that's factual. Kenyan politics is normally so divisive. Like right now, of course, kuna Kasongo, kuna Gedhenji, kuna Rigiji, kuna, I don't know which other thing Gachagua is called. And this politics is good. And the politicians, one day you might find Gachagua and Ruto laughing. But the amount of division that they cause amongst the citizen and the amount of hatred that they cause amongst the citizen, it's crazy. Like, kuna those things that you'll see and you have mixed reactions. Remember the way I reacted to the eulogy Ruto eulogizing Raila, and I reacted to Msekama Uhuru eulogizing Raila. I was like, you've demonized this guy. You've told people he's the lord of poverty. You've told people he's the lord of violence, and you've said all these nasty things that you knew are not true, because you know the government is the one that brings the violence. And then eventually you come back and you tell people, you know what, that's not the truth. So by the time Uhuru told people in 2022 that that's not the truth, a lot of people did not believe him. Saizi, even as Ruto says it, of course kuna watu wana believe Ruto, but there are some who still don't believe him, najua. And that's why niko nasema, like, a lot of people are taking pride in saying I've not mourned Raila, he was just like this. Alafu pia, like, one of the things ile kwa one of my previous like podcasts za kitambo nishaisemaga ni we need to stop this nonsense of saying all politicians are the same, and I'll keep insisting on that. I think it's something that I stopped saying, but I need to go back to saying it. And I think saizi tunafaa kufika hiyo level. I think Kasongo, I think one of the things ile amefanya tukaanza kudiscover ni tumeanza kufika level where we might start judging politicians by their actions more than what we believe ama what we hear. Because for him to quote hapa, najua, and quote this person that you always told people loves poverty and loves this, and then people brought ile narrative ya kipumbavu where people would say this was the MP of Kibra. No, he was not. This was the MP of Langata was, and this was before CDF. Back in the days Akukwa na CDF. All these factors never used to come out. And as we go to the 2027 elections, I'd not want to see the presidential candidates attack each other on especially fictional stuff, or attack each other like, tell me your ideas. What are the ideas? Yes, you have these ideas to turn us into a first world country. How are you going to do that? Tell me your ideas. Wewe mwingine uko like, I want to bring this, tell me your ideas. That would be better than wewe ni mwizi, wewe ni muuaji, wewe ni nini, wewe unapenda poverty, wewe unapenda nini. Because the average Kenyan voter, I'm sorry to say, is not a bright person. They can't see these things. So when you tell them something, they just believe, and they end up hanging on to that. Like some zingine unaendaga Twitter even till now, and you look at the educated and you see them tweeting and you're there like, damn, you are educated and you reason like this. Ekonene, nimeinterrupt show kukuremind juu ya Lemfi. Kama uko US ama Canada na unataka kutuma do Kenya, register kwa Lemfi ukitumia promo code Ekonene. Hii itakuguarantee $20 cashback on your first $100 transaction. Alafu pia time una register, make sure umetick the 2 check boxes za notifications ndio ukireceive info about amazing offers through newsletters. Na pia usijali, Lemfi hawatumagi hizi letters za, yani unajua, like ma messages za kipumbavu. Pia usisahau, every time una transact $50 and above una earn points. Na the more una transact, the more points you earn, and you can redeem them as cash ile time unatuma pesa. Alafu pia kitu nanibamba kabisa ni saizi ukitumia Lemfi unabaki umelipa pay bills na till numbers directly. That means unabaki umehandle bills za maparo wako ukiwa hizo maside za States ama maside za Canada. Alafu pia wewe mwenyewe as a Lemfi user baki umetafuta ile button imeandikwa get USD $20, ubaki umeinvite mabeste zako, na ukiinvite mabeste zako on their first $100 transaction unapata pesa ngapi? $20 cashback. So unangoja nini? Baki umechangamka, ingia Lemfi. Lemfi, international payments for everyone. Ekonene. Unacheki, I think niliona kuna wasali kwa miandika sasa leo tunafaa go back to maandamano, and then someone shared like an original post of the same guy saying that maandamano uharibu economy. So naulizwa like, which is which? When it's time for you kuenda kwa maandamano, now it's important because you hate Ruto. But when it's time for, and that's the sort of politics that us all gonna practice, and I think we need to move away from that. We need to go back to now this sort of politics where you tell me you want to turn Kenya into a first world country, but tell me how you're going to do it. Don't just tell me, najua, like make me believe you. And because as I keep saying, I'm going to do a review of Cape Town, and chances zetu za first world, man, I don't know, man. Like, because when I look at, like, because Cape Town is a compare na Mombasa because of the ports, and imeshikana na Atlantic. Mombasa imeshikana na Indian, and hey, watu wanaran Mombasa jo siko baya, but hey, wacha tuendelee.
We need to do more roads That's why I've said we need to do 10,000 kilometers of tarmac. We need to do more dualing of roads. We need to do our airports. We need to do infrastructure that is going to support the progress and the prosperity of our nation.
While acknowledging the enormity of the task, President Ruto maintained that it is within reach.
I am asking political leaders from across Kenya that we hem in together, we rally together and lift this nation. Kenya is ripe for transitioning from a third world country to a first world country because we have what it takes.
And for us to do this also, and this used to be like my biggest criticism of Raila, ilikuwaga for us to do this, we have to also take advantage of the power that we have. And if we have this power, we have to wield it in the right way. If I look at Ruto and I look at UDA, and I start thinking that UDA might field Didmas Barasa as the governor for Bungoma, then your first world country dream goes through the window. The same way like during when Raila was alive, nilikuwa na criticize vitu kama someone like Obado ending up as a governor, or Ongondo Were ending up as an MP. Like, someone can be good and also not perfect. We don't expect perfect human beings out here, and that's the reason why I always give the story of the first time in land, Abraham Lincoln. I was surprised, like, why would you tell me this? Because I had this guy freed the slaves, but the reason why he's freed the slaves was wrong, because he wanted the slaves to all be sent back to Africa. And then the war for the Union happened, where the Confederates versus the Union, it can happen, and now it can go like, oh, we need these black guys to win the war, and since we need them, let them stick around. Alafu pia aswakambwa like, yes, after we win the war, tutapatia 40 acres and a mule. Of course, no one got the 40 acres and a mule. So you see, when you are writing the history of someone, you have to put the wholesome history. So msemaga like, if I was to write history, Mseka Raila, and I think that will be another story for another day when you're talking about his legacy. We'll talk about this fight for democracy, fight for freedom of speech, fight for Nini having the party that, creating a party that was actually a party and had a national outlook, come to ODM. And then kutakuwa na the asterisk of some characters that reign under ODM should have been nowhere near power. For example, Obado, najua, nowhere near power. Ongondo Were and all the drama that he had. Some of these governors, akina Joho, like, hey, is this the right guy? Unacheki, alafu I think before Umath anaitwa Gladys Wanga, there used to be this other guy who ran Homa Bay. I think I saw a post of like they'd spent, was it 290 million on beverages and sugar in their 5 years in a third world country. Because one of the things Lemusamaga, like, we need to stop this thing of people going to take tea in government offices. Taxpayers' money should not be for your refreshments. Ukienda pale, kama mdomo umekauka, wacha ikauke, wenda kunywa kilo utakunywa home. Tunafaa kwa save every shilling and we push that shilling to something that's better than the nonsense that we do, that drinking and having fun in the office. That's, but tuendele.
And we have the resources that will lift this country forward.
He also disclosed that he has been in consultation with former President Uhuru Kenyatta and other leaders in aligning towards these shared national goals. Kenya's potential has hardly been scratched on the surface. That is the message of President William Ruto.
Yes, and that's a message that I agree with. And Musamaga, you can disagree with someone, but you can't disagree with them all the time. And I think, do I think the dream is realistic? I don't think so. And I'd say that place nimefanya nikaanza kufeel si realistic, because I've been looking at Cape Town and I see how organized it is. Like, everything is organized. And then I look at, even for example, the stories that I hear, and one of the places that I want to visit is Durban, but nasikia Durban sasa, for example, is run by a mayor, I don't know kama ni mayor, from ANC, and ANC ni corrupt tu kama mafala wa Kenya. So in that, nasikia kuna streets utapata kuna magunia kwa barabara, wasi wameanza kuyo that level of misbehavior. Na kuna msata atasema, but you criticize Sakaja for doing that. I criticize Sakaja because Sakaja has not come up with an idea. The only thing I hear about Sakaja ni he's bought an apartment here, he's bought an apartment. I've never had anything that makes me be like, damn, this guy is a visionary. I'll hear things like he's coming up with a chapati maker. Come up with ways to employ the parents of these kids, and you'll never need to build a chapati maker. One of the things mwishindaga nikisema ni vile Nairobi ni chafu, and the way we should be having like those county trucks, and the county trucks could go in all neighborhoods collect uchafu. And that's one of the things nil notice. So the first day nilifika Cape Town, nil notice watu wanatembeaga around wakichukua garbage, najua na hizo magari za nini. There are things you're not supposed to privatize. Sasa kwa like there are all these cartels and what, and I'm like, fuck the cartels. Like, it's not non-negotiable. No, it's non-negotiable. We are not negotiating this. You need to know that this cannot be a devolved function. When it comes to garbage collection, that has to be something that's done by the county. And the fact that we delegate that and then we start blaming cartels, it's nonsense. So yeah, in speech Ruto, I think it's the right speech. But do I believe that it's doable? No, I don't think it's doable. Two reasons. Number one reason is Ruto himself would want to benefit along the way. And he'd want to benefit the wrong way. That's the problem. Alafu, on the second level, we are very dishonest people. So everyone else that's contracted is going to either inflate the budgets and we have this idea that I don't know where we got the idea from, that government has so much money that, for example, when the government wants to buy a pen, it has to buy the pen at a higher price than when Mofrika wants to buy the exact same pen. And that's the problem that we have, because according to Mimi, the fact that the government can negotiate its own rates, it means that the government needs to be buying stuff at cheaper prices. But in Kenya, the government will always buy at more higher prices than watu wa kawaida. So we end up with this situation that we have. So yeah, the dream was good. It was said on Mashujaa Day. Is it achievable? I don't know, man. Time will tell. Hopefully it's achievable, but man, ausemaga kutembea kwingi kuona mengi. I won't lie to you, man. Like and I'll do a whole review on this, but Cape Town has somehow made me sad. It somehow made me sad because looking at all that culture, 6 p.m. places zimefungwa and restaurants are open and they're all full. And then I come back home. I know we have a 24-hour economy. Like, try to imagine, like I did a reaction video nilikiteta juu ya the fact that hiyo airport ya Cape Town haiko imefunguliwa. Then I come and find out that's just how Cape Town rolls. They don't work the whole day. Wanataka kufanya kazi the whole day, shauri yako. Here we'll rest and then we'll work. And I'm like, damn, you know what? I was wrong. And when I'm wrong, mukubali, niko wrong. So I'll do a whole review about that. But yeah, the first world dream. Is it possible? Is it not possible? Leo ni Tuesday. Na since ni Tuesday, leo ni ile siku tunaenda kujua kama wasa wanaenda kotini. Tuanze kufaitia history ya freedom of speech. Kusahau, saizi the Cyber Crimes Act is actually law. So hatujakubaliwa kuongea mavi. Iko nene.